I'm the hot topic on your tongue. I'm a rebound, getting round, stealing from the young. Tell me who I am, guess I don't have a choice. All because I liked a boy. So that crunch, only that was ASMR content. But Sabrina Carpenter has me in the chokehold for weeks now. Well, actually, it all started with nonsense. I think I fell into that song like, I don't know what happened. I just fell into that song and I couldn't get back up. Then when I finally got back up, I found myself lost and trapped in this album because for whatever reason I decided to go back and listen to it, and now I am spiraling in the Bermuda Triangle that is nonsense, emails I can't send, and because I like the boy. So bear with me as I struggle through my rotations. Luckily, whatever I'm talking about today does not involve heartbreak. However, I would still like a little bit of your insight, and I just want to, I don't know, voice my worries in the universe and hoping that they will dissipate on their own. And if not, at least I think talking about it will help me sort out my thought process. So without further ado, grab something to hydrate yourselves with. Uni obviously has her dinner on the side. So let's dive in. I'll give you exactly 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. You know, February has come to an end, and for the most part, other than my skiing trip and all the other things that happened, it was relatively smooth sailing. But, you know, while I was adjusting to the transition between February and March, which was pretty much non existent because the weather didn't really change, it's still cold AF. I still have to wear my puffer jumper every day, but something started to bother me more and more. So, what I realized was that, you know, although my schedule wasn't as hectic as before, and now I'm starting like a brand new term with brand new classes. First week went by all right. Like I met all my kids, and I'm trying to learn the different energies within the classrooms. And I'm a little bit busier than last term. Like my schedule is a little heavier, but I'm trying to see where I could, you know, fit productivity between those gaps. But there's another thing that I discovered while I was, I guess, adjusting to my new schedule was that I feel like I'm losing my stride a little bit. And the reason why I felt that way was because 1 week after my 2 weeks of training week finished, I felt a little out of sync. Like I didn't feel as motivated as before to edit my projects. And overall, I felt very, I don't know, I didn't feel like myself lately. And I was recognizing that I was also developing some, like, hints of negative emotions towards myself, towards my relationship, and just my productivity in general. And in the beginning, I thought, nah, maybe it's just, you know, I'm just transitioning. So this is just a side effect of me trying to transition to this new schedule. But then the other part of me has, I guess, become more mature and being more honest with how I feel. So I decided to call Taro and just kind of express how I was feeling. And you know, I know that I am the person who's feeling frustrated and I don't want to dump that emotions on him, but I do want to see, you know, his insight of the situation. Like, can you help me diagnose myself because I'm not sure what is causing this problem? And I think the best way to unravel my chaos is to go back to the beginning. So after training week, usually, I guess, my excuse during training week for not being productive was that I was tired. I didn't have enough time. And truthfully, I didn't have enough time. In the morning, I would have to wake up at like 6 to get ready for my training at 8:30. I would have to review all the presentations that I need to do, the contents that I need to cover. And then I do the workshops from 8:30 to 12:30 or to 1 p.m., depending on, if any technical difficulties arise. Then I grab a quick bite, or actually, most of the days I don't even have time to grab a quick bite. I would just change, take my bags, and then go to work. And what I would do is, on the way to work at the subway station, I would grab some egg mayo sandwiches and like a roll of kimbap, and that would be my food. And I would do my job. And for the longest days that I have, I work from 4 to 10. So when I come home at 11:30, I again stop at a convenience store, get some quick bites, and then I come back. I prep for my class as well as prep for my contents for the workshop on the next day. So if I want to use the excuse that, oh, I was too busy, like, yeah, sure, it makes sense, right? So what about the weekends? So on the weekends, because I was so tired on the weekdays, I convinced myself that you need a rest, girly. So I rested. And by rested, I mean I like lay down and I did nothing. Or I lay down and I convinced myself to play games. And games were never just 1 or 2 hours. Sometimes it would take up half of a day. And then I end up feeling, not productive because I'm not being productive. And, although it may seem like a taxing activity, but editing for 30 minutes or an hour shouldn't be like a hefty task. But I was just using my fatigue as an excuse to keep pushing that to the side. Then training week comes to an end. This is where a new character has entered the reign. So what happened was, while I was doing training, Taro had asked me if he could borrow my camera to film because he recently finally started a YouTube channel. Like, he always had this idea that, I want to talk about my photography work online. Maybe, I don't see a lot of Korean photographers doing that, and I want to do that to share my work. I believe my work deserves more audience. And I'm like, absolutely, go for it. So while I was doing training, he was starting his YouTube video, and the first video did pretty well. It got like thousands of views. And then you just see him putting out videos more consistently, maybe like a bi-weekly schedule. And he's editing and filming on his free time. So like after his work, I would ask him, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just filmed another video. I'm going to edit my video. And a part of me is very happy for him because, of course, he has always been the person that has motivated me with his work ethic. Like, he's always, if he is determined to do something, he will actually do it. He's not just all barks, no bites. And that is what has been pushing me. But I guess during that period of time, I felt like I was left behind. And by seeing like the growth he had on his channel, I told him, I was very honest with him. I was like, I felt like I was jealous. Like, I felt jealous that your channel was doing well. I felt jealous that you are so consistent with your uploads. I felt jealous that you are putting in more work than I should have done. So I told him about all the things I was feeling one night because it was just like randomly I decided to call him. And we don't usually call. We rarely FaceTime because we have most of our conversations in person. But, that night I decided to call him. And then I shared my feelings. And of course, as always, he wasn't judgmental with how I was feeling. And he, like rationally try to sort out my emotions with me. And it made me realize that some things that I felt jealous of were, not saying were not necessary, but it was like a good reminder in a different sense that, this should be what you are doing. Your excuse of not having time or not having motivation is just another thing that feeds into this perfectionist side of me with my work. Because unfinished work is no better than will never be better than a finished body of work. And I'm always like, oh, I want to make sure my story is told the right way. I want to make sure everything is how I want it. Well, you have to do it. So I felt so unmotivated, and I felt like I haven't felt motivated or feeling like I'm in the zone when I'm editing. Because there are points where when I start to edit and then I get in the groove and I have a really good sense of like what kind of clips I want to do, what kind of feelings I want to convey. And when I find those clips and it all click together, I'm like on a roll. I'm like, yeah, well, I can do this for like 6 hours. I really could. But lately, it's like all my synapses were not firing. They were just like dead neurons. And I was just like, I was baffled. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, am I no longer creative? Have I taken such a long hiatus that I can't even think like me anymore? So I was confuzzled. I was confuzzled. And on top of that, I felt like I was losing all the habits that I have been building before my training week. I think, my habit of going to the gym in the morning, or like on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday in the morning before class, and then going to sleep, or like reading books, or oh my gosh, one of the habits that I spend so much time building was that every night or every morning and night I would journal. I would make a journal entry on Notion, and that would detail like my day, what happened, what am I grateful for, what are my to-do list. However, during training week, everything was so hectic. By the end of it, it flew over my mind, and they were maybe I think a day or so that I just missed having an entry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing so great since the end of 2022, and I can't believe I broke that chain. And ever since I have some broken days, it's like I lost the flow. On some days, it would be maybe like 5 minutes before 12, and technically I still have time to make an entry, but I wouldn't feel motivated to do so. Like I would just like, it's already too late. I don't even remember what I did today. And I just let it slide. And it was like having an out of body experience. I was in the passenger watching myself driving into a train. Like, I'm like, Julie, you gotta hit brake, Julie. And then the other Julie is just, and then, so yeah, my habits, they're slipping through my fingertips. And I was so frustrated when I was seeing that happening in front of my eyes. Then there was another thing, was that food has always been comforting to me. Like me and food, we're like besties for life. And just like a lot of other people who inhabit this world, I use food to cope. For a lot of times, when there are special occasions, birthdays, holidays, when I feel down, I use food as a source of therapy. I know that's not healthy. You should have a healthy relationship with food. But food has always been there for me to pick me up when I'm feeling down. However, lately, food was turning its back on me. Like I didn't really feel much appetite. And whenever I'm eating, it's mostly for the purpose of feeling full so that I'm not hungry when I'm at work. Or actually, you know what? If we want to get really real with this, I think most of the time I eat because I have this fear of my stomach making strange noises when it's like dead quiet in the room. This is what happened. So when I was in university, I had to commute a lot. And because of that, I get really hungry very quickly because 1, I'm burning brain cells. 2, I'm physically running my legs all around campus. And then after campus, I have to do the same to commute home. So I always had I remember at the time, we would buy these boxes of Cliff Bars from Costco, and I would like stuff 4 of them into my backpack, and I would eat them as like my lunch, my snacks between classes, and I would just constantly eat food just so that I don't have those awkward instances. Like sometimes when you're stuck in a very long lecture or you didn't remember to eat, and then out of nowhere, it's just dead silent and you just hear like, oh wow, that was a really good one. Like you just hear that sound, and then logically speaking, it shouldn't really mean anything because that's a biological response. Everyone's stomach will make that noise to signal, hi, bestie, I am hungry. But for me, it was like, it felt so embarrassing to be in that situation. So I would do anything to avoid that situation. I remember at the time we would have these like 3-hour labs, and I would shove my face with food, specifically Wendy's 4 for 4, before lab, even though it made me feel so like stuffed and terrible. But it was like an insurance that, okay, once I stuffed this meal down, I wouldn't be in that situations where my stomach make noise, because it's not possible. I just had a really full meal. So that was my relationship with food, and has been for a long time. So I suspect that most of the time I eat not because I am hungry. But these days, strangely, I didn't have a lot of appetite. I didn't really want to eat, and I'm just robotically eating for the sake of eating. And food had no taste. So at first I was like, maybe I'm just not eating the right food. So I started giving myself food that I like after like a full day of training. I was like, okay, I feel like you deserve this. So I would buy like 곱창, like not 곱창, 막창? Like this is large intestines. And usually you have to go to a restaurant to buy those, but it gets expensive and you can't really go alone. And I want to eat at the comfort of my home. So there are some like air fryer friendly versions of those. And I will order it. It arrive, I will cook it, I'll eat it, and then immediately after I finish it, I feel nothing. And I'm like, that's strange. Maybe it was too greasy. Then I ordered Chinese food, because Chinese food is usually my comfort food whenever I feel homesick or whenever I'm feeling down. The power of eating food from your hometown could really, really remedy your soul. So I ordered Chinese food. What did I order? I think I ordered cumin, something, something, and then mapo tofu and lamb skewers. Yeah, so those are like my go-to order from this one place that's close to me. I ordered it, I sat down, I ate. It was like on a Friday, so I thought, that's a good way to just wrap up week 1 of training. After I finished that, I felt nothing. And I was like, And Taro actually asked me, he's like, hey, how's your food? And I was like, it was kind of meh. He was like, it was kind of meh. Should we go to like another Chinese restaurant or something? And I said, I think it's not the problem with the food. I think the problem is me. Like I can't taste it. It no longer excites me anymore. So I was clueless. I'm like, I don't know how to fix this problem. Then after my training week, and when I started my first week of spring semester, I was sort of trying to figure out what my new routine was going to be like. One thing I did love that was like a rollover baggage from training week was the fact that I built this habit of waking up at 6:30 almost naturally or very easily. So I wake up at 6:30. Usually I would cook breakfast, and then I would prep my classes and I'll do the training workshop, right? So I was kind of like stuck in the limbo. I didn't know what to do. I had a full day of class on Monday, so it wasn't really ideal for me to work out because I would feel tired. But actually, I think I should do that instead, because the reason why you feel tired is because you haven't worked out enough. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. So I was in this awkward limbo area of, you have time to like edit. You could edit, but you also need to prep. And who knows if you're like, are you fully prepped for your classes? Are you sure? Is there anything else that you need to prepare? Like I'm always just tangoing with myself, with my schedule. And then one day it kind of hit me, and I don't remember why I was doing that, but I have a scale in my apartment. I bought it when I first moved in, or when I started to work out. I wanted to track like my muscle mass in a sense. So I moved my scale. I put my scale like by the entryway area for the longest time because I haven't weighed myself since I went back to America. So I moved it toward in front of my mirror, and then for giggles, I stepped on it, and I gained a few pounds, which was normal. And also, I lost muscles. And I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was realizing, that's one thing that also comes with, editing videos of yourself is you see, for me, my footages span over weeks and months. Like I have footages from last spring, last June that I'm still editing. So I see the difference between who I am now and who I was before. And the person I was before was the version that I was working towards. And now I felt like after I went back home, everything just sort of reset it and I fell back into a slump. My workout routines were not there anymore. I barely worked out in the month of February. Like I think I only worked out like 2 times towards the last 2 weeks. So I was like, oh my gosh, I lost the person who I was literally. Like I lost the muscles that I built. I was just sliding down a slippery slope. And at that moment, I think that was when I realized I need to eat cleaner again and I want to get my body back. So there was an instance, I think it was on a Wednesday, after work, I was really, really craving strawberries. And one thing about Korea is that fruits are relatively a lot more expensive than the States. Like a box of strawberries were like $10. But that day I just really wanted strawberries. And I said to myself, well, I thought to myself, you work hard for 10 days and you get paid and you're not even gonna buy yourself a box of strawberries. Like it's not even junk food, it's strawberries, it's fruit. I think you deserve a box of strawberries. So I got that box of strawberry, I put it in my cart. Now, the service I use is an application called Coupang. Now, Coupang sells all kinds of stuff. It's like freaking Amazon here in Korea. And they have this grocery delivery service where once you hit like $15, they will deliver your groceries next day. Well, depending on when you order. If you order before midnight, they will deliver it next day, 7 a.m. in the morning. So I put my strawberries in the cart. That's only $10, right? Not trying to be a mathematician, but 15 minus 10 is 5. Like I still need to put something else in the cart. And then I was just browsing around. I was like, what goes well with the strawberries? I don't just want to eat strawberries alone. Then I saw a tub of yogurt, Yoplait yogurt. I haven't seen Yoplait in a long, long time. But I saw that and I was like, $6, a little bit over, but I think it'll go well. Strawberries and yogurt. Plus, I have chia seeds at home because I made overnight oats before, long ago, which is sad to say. And I also have honey. So I thought, that'd be nice. And when I was just about to finish checkout, they're so sneaky, they are so cheeky. There's an extra pop-up right before you check out, and they're like, would you like to add any of these to your carts? And in there were some bananas. So I ended up tossing in another banana. So I basically ordered $20 worth of groceries, aka just 3 things: strawberries, bananas, and a liter of yogurt. So the next day I was really excited. I chop up the strawberries and then I slice bananas. Oh, I also got a tiny box, because that's all I can afford, a tiny box of blueberries. So I have strawberries, blueberries, bananas, and yogurt. And the next day I was so excited to eat. Like I was actually excited. So I cut up all the fruits, I diced them, I washed them, put it in a bowl, and put it in the wooden bowl that I bought from Muji, because that was the sole purpose of that freaking bowl, was for me to make my fruit yogurt bowl every morning. And I love it. When I use it to eat, I feel so happy. I feel so fulfilled. Like, all I do is dump my fruits in there, multiple scoops of yogurt, one tiny, is that like, no, it's less than a teaspoon. I don't know how big it is. But some chia seeds, right? And then I just drizzle honey all over it and I mix it all up and I eat it. And it doesn't make me feel full, but it makes me feel very present. It made me feel like I connected with the food that I ate. And that was something that I continued to do until now. So like I'm like, I want to eat cleaner. I know it's going to cost much more than how I eat now, because what I eat now is a lot of air fryer food. And so for the sake of time, right, it's easy for me to manage. I don't really have to be fully present to cook those foods. And a lot of sometimes like junk, so microwavable junks, and it's not good for me emotionally or physically. And I want to fix myself. I want to heal myself and be somebody. I want to be somebody that is happy with herself. So I've ordered some like chicken breast sausages, and what else did I order? Oh my gosh. While I was riding on the high of finally feeling and connecting with the food that I ate, I had an epiphany. I wanted curry, but I didn't just want a curry that I could buy, because that's exactly what I did the day I was craving curry, is that I went to work a little bit early because I needed to file some paperwork or something, I don't remember, or I needed to print out some forms. But I went to work a little bit early, and no, it was because we had a meeting at 2 that day. Okay, I left the house early, went to the meeting, and then the meeting finished at like 2:15. Oh my gosh, I commuted 1.5 hours just for a 15-minute meeting. Anyways, got there, and then I went to my usual spot, which is teacher Kim Song-nim. Went there, got their chicken curry, and I ate it. And it was good, but still, I didn't really feel and connect with the food that I ate. And I thought to myself, I want to make curry. But at this point, I've never made curry in my entire life, and I am not the best cook that you have in the area. So I was a little bit nervous. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I looked up some videos, and then I have an application that I've downloaded when I was in college. It's called, if you translate it, it's a Chinese application. It's called Lazy Meal. So I went on the application and I searched up curry. And I found some recipes that were just dummy proof, right? All I needed was an onion, a carrot, and maybe like 2 to 3 potatoes. And then those like instant curry blocks from Vermont. Is it Vermont or Golden Curry, something like that? So I went on Coupang again, ordered the curry blocks, and I also ordered like the vegetables that I needed. Then Wednesday come, and then what did I do? Oh, I think I really, really wanted to do it on Tuesday, because Monday was when I had the curry at Kim Song-nim, and then Tuesday is when I ordered everything. But then I realized this. So in my apartment, I only have one pan. I have a 24 centimeter pan, and I really love that pan. However, to make curry, my pan was not deep enough. So I needed to buy a new pan. I was like, shoot. So I went after work to Daiso. And Daiso have really like cheap things. I found a wok. It's like a tiny wok for $5. And I also bought a lid because I was told that I need a lid. And lid, also $5. So for $10, I got me this curry setup. So I came home, I was so excited. I was like, okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to do this. So Wednesday came around. I woke up. Did I work out that day? Yes, I worked out that day. I came home, I showered, and immediately I started making curry because I thought it would take a long time. And I didn't know what to expect because it was my first time. So I chopped up everything, and then I actually bought meat too. And usually I don't spend money on like good beef because beef is expensive. But I decided, you know what? I want beef curry. I don't want that chicken curry. I want beef curry. So I bought some diced beef and cooked it and then put everything in. And then I put the curry blocks in and I like boiled it. But I didn't boil it long enough. So it was still kind of like, I don't want to say al dente, but like it was not as mushy as you think like a regular curry would be. But I was really happy. Like I ate that curry and I still have enough leftovers. So I put the lid back on and put it back in the fridge. Turns out I would continue to eat that curry for 2 more days. And every time I reheat it, it would get softer. So eventually it got to the consistency that I wanted. But I had curries straight, 3 days straight, and I didn't feel tired of it because one, I cooked that curry. And two, I don't know, something about making your food just makes you feel much more connected to them. And I was really happy with finally following through with something that I wanted to do. And instead of just like put it in like a bucket list, I just decided to go ahead and do it. And it turned out not too bad. So it kind of, like rebuilt this trust between food and myself. So I'm like, maybe the goal of March is to eat cleaner and not only eating cleaner, but also eating intuitively. Like I want to listen to my body and listen to how it feels after a meal. So for example, after I ate the fruit bowl, I loved it. Like the prep time is longer than eating time because like I would probably spend maybe 10 minutes prepping and I would spend 2 minutes inhaling it. I'm not a quick eater, but it's something about it. Like, right, is it okay to have a a bowl of yogurt at 11 p.m.? Because if it's okay, let me know. I'm about to have one because I'm feeling a little hungry. But yeah, I know it's gonna be expensive, but it's probably better for me anyways. Because if I'm gonna spend money ordering out, might as well spend that money on buying fruits and cleaner ingredients that will be more kind to myself and to the progress that I want to make with me bod. So yeah, that's one thing that I was feeling on top of the sense of losing my stride, losing my flow, losing my habit, was that I felt like I was losing food. Like it didn't listen to me anymore, or I didn't listen to it anymore. And then another thing was that one day I was in the teacher's lounge and I was just prepping my classes, and unfortunately my ears work and they don't ever turn off. So I was overhearing what my coworkers were saying to the other coworkers. And basically she was saying that she wanted to do certain things before work. And in my mind, I was like, whoa, that could never be me, because then my day, like it's just not possible for me to do all those things and then commute to work. I'm going to feel like I'm dead. But she was saying that, she likes to have the pressure of time so that it keeps her in check while still accomplishing what she has planned for the day. So basically she just has a fuller day. And then while I was prepping, it kind of clicked with me. It's like, yeah, I should be doing the same, even though I live a little bit far out. Yes. Even though I have to commute. Yes. But that isn't an excuse to not simplify my day, but more so like restrict my days into only doing like 3 things before work. Like I could do so much more. There's so many parts of Seoul that I have not yet discovered, just because I am trapping myself in the concept that, oh, your work schedule is very awkward and you're always busy prepping for classes, and on the weekends you just kind of want to rest instead of venture out and do those things. So she kind of inspired me to live fuller days, and I've been trying to do that and trying to fit more activities before I have to head to work. And I did notice that recently, even though I felt like I was losing my stride, was that I became more, I guess, less procrastinative. Pro- procrastin. I became less, I guess, I stopped procrastinating on prepping for classes. So this is something that I like to do, especially when I have to prep for high level class or test prep class. I kind of don't want to do it until the very last minute because it requires a lot of my brain juice. However, for the past 2 to 3 days, I noticed sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I would, if I don't have anything specifically planned, it's almost like in order to avoid editing, I pursue other productive tasks. So I started prepping for classes days ahead. And I'm like, whoa, Julie, calm down. What are you doing? But it has been a good thing for me, to be prepared ahead of time. And in that sense, I felt like my days were becoming a little bit fuller. So I was happy about that. And another thing that played into that was I was leaving my phone on Do Not Disturb a lot more often. So I have this charging stand, and now that I have a new phone, it has like MagSafe. So once I attach my phone to the charger, so there is an application, and if you're an iPhone user, I believe it's called automation or shortcuts. I don't remember which one it is, but I've created two shortcuts for myself, or two automations for myself. One is that when my phone hits maybe like 15%, she will say, "Hi, I'm dying." And then I would know, okay, I need to charge my phone. And another, okay, maybe I made like 3 automations. No, 4 automations. The second automation I have is whenever I put my phone on charge, it automatically triggers Do Not Disturb, and along with the line, "Leave me alone and be productive." So whenever I charge my phone, Siri will say that to me. And I leave my charging stand far enough away from my desk so that if I want to look at it, I would need to get up and reach for it. And I really, really, really have learned to enjoy that, having my phone on Do Not Disturb and not being bombarded with notifications, and just truly being a little bit more focused on whatever I was doing, whether it be cleaning the dishes or tidying up my apartment or folding my laundry. It's just like really mundane tasks. But I could fully pay attention to what I'm doing instead of constantly being distracted. But while I was doing that, I also had I was kind of, tugging on this fear of I was ignoring what was going on in everyone else's world, or what was going on in my friend's world specifically. And I feel that especially because, a lot of the close friends that I have, they're not here, they're in the States. And then the only way of communication between us was through social medias, me by watching their stories and then seeing their post. That was my way of still being, like, still having a look into what was going on in their life. And if I stopped doing that, then it's like I would fall off the face of the earth. Like, I would not know what they're doing. We wouldn't have something to talk about. I would just feel out of loop. And that was a fear that I had. So I felt like I had to constantly check Instagram to see what they were doing. But when I was off of social media, it felt so great. Like, these days, I haven't been on Instagram at all. Like, I didn't even really post stories. What I would do is, let's say if I went outside and then something happens, for example, i.e. the skiing trip, the snowboarding trip, like, I recorded everything. Like, I had pictures, I have videos, but I haven't posted a single thing since like beginning of February, and I don't plan on posting it the day of or the weekend of. I'll probably post it maybe sometime in March or sometime in April when I have like a day off and I'm not really doing anything else, and I will just dump all that content at once. It feels much better to do it that way because I don't feel pressured to lose focus in the moment, And it felt so nice not being on socials and not mentally keeping tab of what's going on in everyone's life. But I'm also battling that FOMO. And like, what if something big is going on in my friend's life and I'm completely missing out because I'm not on the platform? So that's something I felt very guilty towards every time leave me alone, be productive. Like when my phone is in charging mode and I'm not looking at everything. But I don't know, like so far, not being on socials have helped me a lot. Like had helped me in trying to reestablish my habits again, reestablishing my productivity outside of my editing flow. But with class prepping and with spending the time that I need to outline my lessons, I think that was a sacrifice that I have to make. And for the friends that are listening to my podcast right now, I'm sorry if I have been a little bit absent in your life and in your stories. Not because I don't care about you anymore. It's just because I was just trying to heal myself to feel a little fuller, to feel a little bit more normal. And I still care about you deeply. I still care about the events that is happening in your life. So whenever I have a chance and whenever we catch up, I hope that you don't misunderstand my absence. Yar. Yeah. It felt like social media is just a way to maintain friendships and relationships these days. So it felt like a bit overwhelming. Especially because lately I felt like I just want to run away from socializing with not just people in general, but like people at work, because work is doing what work does best. As old people leave, new people come in. It's like adding new dyes into a cauldron of a mixture of different colors. It just gets darker and darker, and I'm like spiraling. I'm like, I don't want to get involved in work drama, but I'm at work and therefore I become part of it, and I just want to distance myself. How do I stay clean? It's like I'm in a washing machine full of different colors and I'm desperately trying to stay as a white t-shirt. I'm failing at it. I probably a tie-dye shirt by now. And oh my gosh, speaking of work, relationships, on the 22nd, we have a work company dinner, and I'm still debating if I want to go or not. I think one, it depends on where we are going. Two, it also depends on the attendance. Like if the people that I'm comfortable with are going, then I would go. But if it's mostly going to be like the problematic people that I want to avoid, then I don't want to go. Yeah, bottom line. Because I consider myself as a pretty patient person. Given my occupation, I have to teach kids, and I feel like I had to teach kids. I raised my sibling, and I felt like, I think I have a solid A, if not A minus, in the department of patience. But I've been surprised at how I'm losing it with people at work these days. And there would just be things that kept on happening, and I would lose my mind. Not outwardly, but most definitely inwardly. I just don't understand how some people lacked not even common sense, it's just like common decency towards other people. And I was just like, what? I felt like I was back in America again and facing a lot of the issues that not saying that I'm running away from, that I would like to not face again. I thought we age out of this, given that we're in Asia and this kind of thing shouldn't happen. But that's that. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. I think at this moment I just like to be a hermit or a cat, so that I could be Uni's cat friend, and perhaps she'll love me more and not scratch my eyeball. Oh my gosh, one morning. Gosh. Excuse me. So my alarm is always set at 6:30, right? And besides my alarm, I have another flash alarm, aka Uni. She will always be waiting at the edge of my bed, staring into my soul, basically saying, "Hi, it's time. Wake up and feed me and stop being lazy." One time I felt really tired. I just felt like I wasn't rested enough. And I just I stopped the alarm and I pulled the cover over my face. And I was trying to doze off again. And I think I did successfully, maybe for a minute or so. Then Uni used her little paw and she like clawed the cover across my face and her claw like went in. I don't know how to describe this. It like dipped into my eyelid a little bit. And I was so afraid that my eyes was going to be infected. But luckily, one, she didn't scratch my face. Two, my eyes were just a little red, but not like pink eye red. So that scared me. Ever since then, I try to be as punctual as possible. Like 6:30, 6:45, I'll wake up, give her food so she can be satisfied. But the thing is, you would think that with the way that she's behaving, she's like, wake up and feed me. She's probably starving. I would feed her, she'll look at it, and she'll walk away. So I'm like, why did you wake me up to feed you then? Was it just to feel important? Or was it because you're really hungry? Because if it's the first one, then I don't know, girlie. Maybe I'm going to start feeding you at like 8 a.m. and we're going to synchronize our meal schedules. So that was that. And today is Sunday. Oh, what day is today? What date is today? Where's my phone? Hey Siri, what date is today?
It's Sunday, March 5th, 2023.
Okay, Sunday, March 5th. So yeah, today I decided to meet up with Taro. And what do we do? Oh, he got invited to this like photographer's photo exhibition. He was a VIP guest. Hey. So we went there and then went to McDonald's to try out the freaking don't laugh at me. New Jeans. So if you are familiar with the K-pop scene, New Jeans is a relatively new group with a lot of hype around it. And they McDonald had a collaboration with New Jeans, and they came out with this McCrispy sweet onion sandwich, I think. We wanted to try it. So we went to McDonald's, tried that. Then we went to a cafe to read books. I think I was going to start a new book, a book that I wanted to read. It was like mystery crime novel. But I'm currently reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I was like, I should finish one thing before I start the other, Julie. Let's not make that mistake, because recently I just finished Norwegian Wood. I personally didn't like it as much as I thought I would, but that's another story. Like, I can talk about Norwegian Wood right now. It was so hard for me to finish, but I'm reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo like it's nothing. Like, I think today, not to brag, but I think personally for myself, I read like 60 pages in an hour. And that was truly baffled. I didn't think I could do that. I was like, wow, Julie, what is happening? But the stories were just flowing. And right now I'm stuck at a point which I was shooketh. I did not expect the story to turn out that way, but right now I think I'm on the second husband. So Dawn Adler. If you're reading that book, you know where I am right now. She's meeting a new player has entered a reign. She just finished recording Little Women, and oh my gosh, things about to go down. But yeah, what else did I do? After that, after cafe, went to eat dinner together, and then today. So we used to have subscriptions with Netflix, but after the whole canceling Warrior Nun thing, it wasn't the primary reason, but we stopped watching Netflix. And Instead, we signed up with a Korean streaming service called Watcha. So on Watcha, the reason why we subscribed is not because, one, I'm really good with Korean. It's mostly because they have The Office on Watcha. So I signed up for like a trial, but Watcha's really sneaky. And they tricked me into, like, the buttons were really confusing, and then the navigation of it was just not user friendly for a reason. And I tried to do it on my own before I reached out to Taro for help. And that is how I ended up trapping myself into paying another month of premium service with Watcha. And this month, finally, Taro was able to help me cancel the subscription. So today was actually the last day. So we kind of like binged Office a little bit. And then as of maybe like an hour or so ago, I just got home and I decided to keep you updated with my life and the things that has been bothering my mind and the littlest progress that I've made since then. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything new to report as of yet. We're just starting March, so I'm hoping for a lot of good things to come in our ways, and I hope whatever that you are hoping to achieve, we'll get to manifest that. We'll get to put it into action, to make some small progress, progression, not progress, not perfection. And that is going to be the theme of March. And TMI, but I am going to be another year older and another month. And I'm not ready. Mentally, I'm not there. And I'm not going to think about it. And instead, I'll just focus on my present. And I'm gonna say this so that you can keep me accountable, so I can keep myself accountable. I'm going to finish that freaking video and post it this month. The thing is, it's so sad, but I already have another video lined up for after this. So like I already wrote the scripts and the descriptions and everything, but it's the process of finishing the work is the hardest for me. And for what? For what reason, Julie? For what reason? You want your stories to be coherent? Cool, but can you like hurry up and finish everything so that people are not waiting on you? I've only had today there was a moment when we were walking to Taro's place, and then he was like, "Did you watch my videos?" I was like, "Yes, of course I watched your video." And he's like, "Oh, I have like 190 or 170 something subscribers now." I was like, "Yeah, it was really good. Like, congratulations, you've been doing really well. You've been working really hard." And he asked me, "How many subscribers do you have?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Just curious." I was like, "Oh, I have like 473 right now." He's like, "Oh wow, from like 3 videos." I was like, "Come here, come Heather." I was like, he didn't mean it, like we were just teasing each other, like he did not mean it in a malicious way. But I was like, damn, he's right. I have all these subscribers waiting on me, and I haven't even put out a video since like 3 months ago. I need to step up, for real, seriously. If I really want to make a change with YouTube this year, this is the time to do it now. And after this project and after the next project, I am going to try to make more lighthearted videos with like low investments, so that I could put out more videos more consistently without feeling like I'm juicing my brain. But yeah, other than that, that's it. That's my wrap up. And as always, thank you for listening to the 65th podcast of Lactose Intolerant. I hope your week, whether if it's eventful or not, I hope you had a good week, and I'm hoping for a better week ahead, and whatever goals you have set for yourself in the upcoming weeks or months, I hope that you are taking solid steps towards that goal, and eventually it will manifest in front of your eyes. And I wish the best for you, and I hope whatever you wish for will come to fruition as well. And I'm wishing the same for myself, but of course I need to take the initiative and to be more intuitive with my actions, and same to you, I guess. So thank you for listening, as always, take care, be safe, and take care of your bodies, take care of your soul. And I will see you next time with more things to report. But yeah.